Now, in a nutshell, the Western European Union is the military arm of the European Union. Now, only European countries can become member states of the Western European Union. And NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now, this is an international organization which brings together the armies of various countries. Now, this is the official website of the Western European Union, and if you click on Delegations in the left-hand corner, another page will open. Now, this is the next page that will open, and right on top is the 10 nations that are full members of the Western European Union that have voting rights. Now, the footnote at the bottom of the chart says that the Western European Union Secretary General Javier Solana has stated that the number of the 10 full members of the Western European Union will never change, not in the present or in the future. Now, could they be the 10 horns or the 10 kings of the beast of Revelation? Now, this chart is the internal structure of the New World Order. Now, in the center, you will notice the Western European Union's green circle that forms the 10-nation military wing of the European Union. Now, we have to remember that the Western European Union's army is the army of Europe. Now, they are a part of the United Nations. And another thing that we have to keep in mind is the international laws were created and made by Europe. So if Europe is playing the piano, the world is dancing. Now, this 10-nation military alliance is Greece, Portugal, Luxembourg, Netherlands, United Kingdom, France, Spain, Germany, Belgium, and Italy. Now, beside the fact that Article 666 created a powerful job that gives Javier Solana complete authority and discretion to declare military emergency when he thinks it fits, this man also wrote the recommendation of the Western European Union. Now, this recommendation is the rules, regulations, powers, and operation of his military force. Now, do you know what this rules and regulations is called? It is called Recommendation 666. Now, Recommendation 666 called for special powers to be given to the Western European Union. Now, that is the military of the European Union. Secretary General and CFSP High Representative, Mr. Javier Solana, enabling him to take control of political and military councils in the event of an emergency. Now, it also describes the military power and regulations in civilian emergencies. Now, will this be the military arm that persecute the Christians in Europe? Now, in the next clip, I will show you this document. And if you Google Recommendation 666, you will find it at this web address below. Now, this is what the Western European Union's web page looks like. You can see Recommendation 666. Now, this is the same document, just zoomed in so that you can read it. You can see Recommendation 665. And the military regulations is Recommendation 666. According to the scriptures, the Bible tells us that in the last days, at the time when Israel has been restored as a nation, now we know that happened in 1948, that the Roman Empire would be revived again. A 10-nation alliance, a federation, will appear, and from this alliance or federation a man will rise to power, a little horn. Now, that we read about in Daniel 7. And he will sign a 7-year agreement, a treaty with Israel that he will break in the midst of it, and that is after 3.5 years. And the Bible points it out that the beast, the little horn or the Antichrist, will be in some way connected or be identified with the number 666. And we read about it in Revelation 13 verse 16. Now it is alarming to see that the office of the High Representative of the revived Roman Empire, the European Union, as well as its military force, the Western European Union, that it is directly official connected to the number 666. Now this is something that cannot be ignored. Now let's take a look what is the biblical specifications of the beast in Revelation and in Daniel. Revelation 17 verse 16 is telling us that the 10 horns are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet. Now it means that they will not have kingdoms or countries of their own to rule. And then the Bible tells us, but they will receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Now could it be that a 10-nation military alliance will rise, who will receive power through their alliance, but that will not have their own kingdoms to rule, because they will be the beast's horns, power, his military strength, with which the Antichrist will dominate and rule with a one-world governmental system? Then the Bible tells us in the next verse, in verse 13, that these kings will have one mind, which means a 10-nation alliance, a confederation. And then the Bible go on and tell us, and shall give their power and strength, their military force, unto the beast. Now this beast can mean the Antichrist and or a world governmental system. Now is the Western European Union the 10 kings of Revelation 17? Now we do not know for sure, but the Western European Union is a red light to be watched, as well as the new world order that is falling in place. Now in this moment it's a match according to biblical prophecies, but we still have to watch and see how things unfolds. And in verse 14, this alliance of 10 kings as well as other nations that we read about in Revelation 19 shall make war with the Lamb, and that is Jesus Christ, at his second coming, and that the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And he will set up his kingdom on the earth, and the saints, and will reign with him for 1,000 years in peace. And then the Bible tells us in Revelation 20 verse 4 that after the 1,000 years of peace, there will be a rebellion against God again, but he will destroy them with fire. And then the great judgment day will happen. Now we read that in Revelation 20 verse 9. Now this fourth kingdom will come out of the uniting of nations. In other words, a one-world government. And we read in Daniel 2 verse 40, it will be strong as iron, and as iron it will break, crush, and subdue all things. Now all things is other kingdoms. Now see the Bible commentaries of John Wesley and John Gill and Albert Barnes. Now they were biblical scholars who lived in the 17th and 18th century. And the Bible tells us that it will be part of clay and part of iron, which also means that this kingdom shall be divided, and it shall be partly strong and partly broken, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. And we read that in Daniel 2 verse 41 in the King James Bible.